Today, on the Vince Everett Ellison Show, we're going to talk about the Democratic Party's grand scheme to keep black and white Christians separated. And this is how they gain power. Yeah, we're going to talk about that today. So join me on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, let's get this thing started. You know, Jesus Christ, before he went to the cross, his last prayer was for his disciples, and for his children, and for the Christian community to not be divided. This prayer is recited in John 17, 20 to 23. And Jesus says, "My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. That all of them may be one. Father, just as you are one in me and I in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. I in them, you in me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. Then the world will know that you sent me and have loved them as you have loved me." Oneness, unity, so they may be one. He prayed that we will not be fighting one another, hating one another, hurting one another. And we all know that that is not happening right now. And why isn't it? Well, let me tell y'all something real quick. And I'm going to start every last one of my shows now with this definitive statement. The Democratic Party is the evilest institution in the history of the world. Its leadership consists of a cabal of perverts, liars, psychopaths, and anti-Christian bigots. All they do is meditate on blood. And voting for this evil party will send your soul to hell. Having said that, let me say this. The Democratic Party has a hatred for Christianity. Everywhere it is in the world, they try to destroy it. If you don't take any advice from Vince Everett Ellison, you better take this one. You better hope that you fail in your quest to rid the world of Christianity, especially rid America of Christianity. Because I know some brothers, and I'm one of them, that if Jesus Christ was not in their life, if he did not stay their hand, you liberals wouldn't last 24 hours in the United States of America. I know some brothers that if Jesus Christ wasn't holding their hand, they'd take out zip codes. Your hatred for this religion is like a hatred for the roof that covers you from a storm. It is keeping all of these very, very men that could be very, very violent from doing very violent things to you. And for you to even consider ending Christianity in America shows you have a death wish. Shows you're insane. Shows that you are willing to die for your stupid atheistic ideology. So if you want some advice, I'd advise you to cut that mess out. And I'd advise you to leave that ideology alone. You cannot believe in it if you want to. But you had better make sure that all of these young, strong, powerful men in America, that they keep Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. Because if they don't, you liberals are going to be dead men and women. Now, back to what I was talking about. The Democrats' primary goal in America is to make sure that black and white Christians are separated. Because when they separate them, they can control them, and they can have power. And they've done a very good job at it. Now, they were the first ones to do it. White Democrats started this separation down south on the plantation. They had this idea that for some reason, God saw black Christians in a lesser light than he saw white Christians. I guess it came from the necessity on the plantation when their little girls and little boys asked them, said, Daddy, why you treat the black slaves so terribly? I guess Dad had to say, well, because these people are black and they're inferior and God wants us to treat them like they're little monkeys and we have to take care of them. So they made up the lie. And they gave them a watered down Christianity and said that you're not good enough to practice it with us. You have to either sit in the back of the church or you have to go practice it somewhere else. Now, we all know that wasn't right. Matter of fact, the Southern Baptist Convention apologized for all racism in 1995. Said it was wrong. And they're right, it was wrong. But this is where black people got their stupid idea of the black church and black liberation theology. They learned it from their masters. All of their racism, all of their hatred, all of the things that they're doing now, they got it from their Democrat Party masters. So now there's a schism in the body of Christ. Black people took what they've learned about Christianity, the false Christianity of the South, they took it up north, and they started the black churches up north and all of that. The white abolitionists didn't believe in separation of races up north. Matter of fact, the white abolitionists were Christians that believed that all of us were equal under the eyes of God. We were his children. We were brothers and sisters. Oh, but down south, if a black person tried to stick their head in a white church, might get it blowed off. They beat him up, hang him in the churchyard. Heck, the Ku Klux Klan, the military wing of the Democratic Party, would burn the cross. Ain't that some nerve? Burn the cross. I think that was a pretty good indicator they weren't Christians right there. They believed in wholesale murder. They believed in burning the cross while they killed people. So there was a bastardized version of Christianity down south that made no sense if you read the scriptures. None. But this divided black and white Christians and kept them from coming together. And guess who was doing it? The Democrat Party elite. On both sides. Keeping the people fighting, keeping them hating one another, keeping them from becoming unified. And now they're definitely doing it because everybody knows that if Christians come together, the whole Democratic Party doctrine is gone. What doctrine is that? LGBTQ? Why? Because God made them male and female. All this gender fluidity stuff doesn't exist. All of this sexual liberation stuff doesn't exist. It's control yourself. It is conform. It is what does God want me to do? What does he say? Whatever that is, that's what you conform to. And these people want to walk around here and tell you, well, I don't want to do it. Well, don't do it. Nobody care how you get down, but don't be walking out here telling my children about it. Don't be trying to indoctrinate them into your sick lifestyle. Leave the children alone. Oh, no, but they got drag queens in the school shaking their behind your children's faces, pouring in the schools now. Want to teach them to explore their sexuality when they're 5 and 6 and 7 years old. Bunch of perverts is what they are. But if Christians come together, we can cut it all out. So we can't come together. They're going to make sure we stay divided. What else? Abortion. We know what our Bible says about abortion. Before I knew you, formed in your mother's womb, I ordained you a prophet. You're wonderfully and beautifully made. Life is life. Our Bible says, let heavens bear witness that I lay before you blessings and curses, life and death. Choose life so that you and your children shall live. It orders us to choose life. Jesus Christ said that if anyone harms one of these little ones, it's better than a millstone be tied around their neck and they be thrown into the sea. As I said before, and I say again, I hope these Democrats can swim. Maybe not. I don't have a problem if a lot of them drowned. Kicking God out of the public square. Our Declaration of Independence says that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. What is an unalienable right? An unalienable right is a right given to you by God. It is irrevocable, non-transferable, and unsellable. So how do they get to the point where they can kick God out of the public school system, out of the public square, where children cannot even find out where their rights came from? There it is. They separate Christians. They have us fighting over foolishness. Foolishness. They allow the sex trafficking across the border, the fentanyl across the border. Right now, the younger generation under 30, according to a Washington Post story, are the most unhappy generation in American history. Pause for effect. Why? Because they won't teach these children anything about Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ says, if you keep your mind on me, I keep you in perfect peace. Instead, they have these children not knowing what's going on in their lives. They don't know whether they're girls or boys. They don't understand what right and wrong is. They're living in iniquity, and they don't even know what the rules of society is anymore. Oh, but these Democrats got control, don't they? They want to turn the whole public education system into a big diddy party. Have children in the schools dancing and on the table, shaking their behinds, slapping teachers and raising hell. I was looking at this stuff just recently. They talking about the spring break. Got to go down. People got to ban them because they just go down and act a fool. Stripping and fighting and doing dope. The folks in the town can't even have a good time when they come down there anymore. You have to ban them. Had Freaknik down in Atlanta, had to ban it. Wherever they go, there's like a stone cold fool. Why? We live in a virtueless society. No virtue. And this is an exact plan that the Democratic Party has put out for America. You see them trying to backpedal on it? So they started in the Old South when the slave masters and the racists said, we don't want to go to church with black people. Black people never had a problem going to church with white folks, but they didn't want us, so we said, we'll start our own church. Well, the black preachers started making a little bit of money over that situation. So when the reconciliation came in the 90s, you think they was going to give up their congregation? So a lot of these guys started getting involved in what had been a fringe movement in the 60s called Black Liberation Theology. James Cone came up with the ideology, and they did it to counter what had been happening in the civil rights movement and what Malcolm X had been saying about Christianity being a white man's religion of passivity. So Black Liberation Theology basically said that Jesus was identified with black people because we were oppressed the same way that he was oppressed, and they wouldn't identify with white Christians. And that we need to make Christianity not just an afterlife thing where we're going to live in the presence of Jesus Christ, but we need to make it where it liberates us here on earth. You know, God can buy you a Cadillac. You can get your gold watch. That type of idiocy. Using God as a convenience. So many churches there started picking up on that, the prosperity ministry, to try to keep black people in their churches and keep them away from these other white congregations because they didn't want to lose their congregations. They didn't want to lose the money and the power and the prestige and the ability to march and cry and scream. But there was an inherent contradiction in black Christianity and white Christianity. Since the black preacher was connected to the Democrat Party, he had to decide which master he was going to serve because the Democratic Party doctrine was completely opposite of the doctrine of Christianity. If he was going to follow the proper doctrine against LGBTQ, prayer in schools and making sure God in the public square, making sure that people can defend themselves in war zones, making sure that the laws are followed, all of that, abortion, they would have had to side with the Republican Party. Oh, no, not these dudes. That's not where the money's going. The Republicans don't play preachers like the Democratic Party does. So when it came to the money, or Jesus Christ, these jokers shows the money. And so they got in the pulpit and they would preach this watered down Christianity to black people. Oh, Democrat Party going to give you free food, going to give you free stuff. They're going to make you equal to the white man, all that kind of stuff. But they didn't tell you on the other side what the Democrats were doing about killing your babies, taking God out of the public square, aborting everybody. So black people sat up there hearing this watered down version of Christianity. Jesus Christ would have identified with you and not with the white man. And if you want to have a conversation with an ignorant, stupid individual, go and grab yourself a black preacher that called himself a Democrat. You cannot find no more of an ignorant person walking the face of this earth. If you try to sit down and talk to them 5 minutes about world affairs, you will see that you have a better chance of sitting down and talking with a gorilla and him understanding what you're talking about. They don't know anything. As stupid as they come, but they are leaders of men. Try to talk to them about history. Try to talk to them about current events. Try to talk to them about world affairs. Try to talk to them about the stock market. See how much sense they got. But if you want to start talking to them about taking money for votes, oh, you got them there. That ignorant joker will talk to you until your ears fall off. You want to talk to him about giving them some money to get his congregation to vote for the Democrat Party. He's all in on that. Malcolm talked a lot about the ignorant black preacher. Boy, he couldn't have had it. Woo! So he tries to play the double game. Now, the Bible tells us that a double-minded man is unbalanced in all of his ways. And because they keep us separated, having black Christians vote for the Democrat Party, which is an evil institution, and the black vote is used to keep that evil institution afloat, so it can do all kind of damage. But what if Christians got together? What if everybody got together and said, we're going to vote based on these rules, the rules of Jesus Christ? I remember in 2016, after Trump got elected, I was riding with my daughter. I was bringing her up to the house for Thanksgiving. And we stopped at a McDonald's to get something to eat. And they were having this march of women, this women's march. They put together to try to come up there and kick Trump out of office before he took his inauguration. And they had stopped at the same McDonald's. And they looked at my daughter, seeing that she was black, mistakenly thought that she was a liberal. They didn't know that Vincent Everett Ellison was her father. And this white lady approached my daughter and said, Hey, honey, how you doing? We're going up to Washington, D.C. to run this thing at the hospital. I mean, out of the White House. We're, pro-abortion, and we're feminists, and we would like for you to come with us. If you come, we'll make sure you get back home safely. My daughter listened to this woman very, very respectfully, and she turned to her, and she said, ma'am, I cannot go with you. She said, I'm a Christian. I vote my values. I voted for Trump. And this white lady just got ashen white, and she was shocked. And when I saw this, I was so pleased with my daughter because she said, I vote my values. I'm a Christian, and I vote my values. And I said to myself, why can't more people just say this? I'm a Christian, I vote my values, and I vote based on the laws of Jesus Christ. I vote according to these laws. I will not vote for someone that will kill a child. I will not vote for someone that's going to take God out of the public square. In this great book and great movie, No Country for Old Men, I don't know if you've seen it. It's a great movie. It got Best Picture some years ago at the Academy Awards. But the book was also awesome. Very good book. It was about this Texas town where these people running dope came in and they lost some money and this cowboy had, and they was trying to get the money back, and a lot of killing happened. This crazy man was trying to find this money, and there was a lot of killing and everything. This was the early 70s, before the dope game really got as it is now. We're used to it then, but it was new then. And the old country sheriff, played by Tommy Lee Jones, was just taken aback by the violence, the killing, the murder that was going on in his town. And he knew that he was overmatched, and he decided he was going to resign from being sheriff. And when asked why he was resigning, he said, it's not what a man would have to do, but what a man would have to become in order to stop this stuff. And what I had to become would put my soul in hazard. I never forgot reading that, because I hope some of y'all would think about that. It's not what you have to do to become a Democrat that is so bad. It's what you have to become. And it'll put your soul at hazard. Today, to become a Democrat, you have to become a mass murderer of children. Think about that. You have to sign off on killing 1.5 million children a day with abortion. To become a Democrat today, you have to be an atheist, because they demand that you use the government, that you vote for a party that says God cannot be spoken anywhere out in public, anywhere in the schools, anywhere in government buildings. No, you have to become not just an atheist, but a person that fights for atheism. To be a Democrat now, you have to become a pornographer, a sex fiend, and a pervert. A person that sexualizes children, that cuts off the breasts of little girls and call them little boys, that castrate little boys and call them little girls. Yeah. That allows these perverts to go into these schools and sexualize your children. Lord have mercy. To be a Democrat now, you have to become an anti-Christian bigot, a hater of mankind. You have become a part of a party that wants to turn America into a genderless, faceless beast that believes in nothing that's good. And you have to put your soul at hazard. How can you say that I'm a Christian, but I believe all these other things? How can you say you're a Christian and you walk around this racism, hating your fellow Christians? How can you say that you're an heir of Jesus Christ and a child of God and that God will take care of all of your needs, and you're out there marching and fighting and raising hell, asking other people to take care of you? There's a true Christianity and there's a false Christianity. And right now, most of the black church, not all of it, most of it is apostate. It is a Christian church that tells you to vote for anti-Christian ideology. And look at what's happened. What did Jesus say? You know a tree by the fruit it bears. How do you know a false prophet? You cannot get good fruit from a bad tree, or bad fruit from a good tree. Each tree in this fruit be after his own. So if you want to see which Christianity is correct, look at the fruit. And the Christianity coming from the black church right now is bad fruit. Go to Chicago, go to St. Louis, go to LA, go to Detroit, go to Memphis, go to New York. Everywhere these jokers rule, preaching and lying and driving people away from Christ. If you took the murder and the crime that the black community out of the equation, America would be one of the safest nations in the world. Did you just hear what I said? If you took the crime that has been done in the black community out of the equation, America would be one of the safest nations in the world. You know a tree by the fruit it bears. Now, you don't see white Christians out there. You might see white liberals out there doing a lot of stupid stuff. Fighting and killing and smoking and pornography and all that kind of idiocy. You don't see white Christians out there doing a whole lot of foolishness. And you know what, y'all? This is the coup de grace. And I don't know if it's good or if it's bad. I do know that it's true. We're not going to have to worry about you much longer, you liberals and you Democrats, because you're killing yourself. The Bible says that the land will vomit you out. This is why they have to bring all these illegals in and ship them up to New York and Chicago and LA. You know why? Because you're dying. Murder, abortion, drug overdoses, prison, all of that. You're dying. You're killing yourselves. All we have to do is sit back and watch. But to show you about the Christ in us, even though you hate us, we're still trying to save you. We're still trying to get you to accept school choice so you can get your children out of these failing schools and the schools that help them. We're still trying to get you to accept Jesus Christ so your souls will be saved. We're still trying to make sure that you can get guns to defend yourself so that when these criminals come to try to kick in your doors and take things from you, you can defend yourself. We're still trying to make sure that that border is sealed so you don't have to worry about all these illegals coming in and competing for rent and competing for jobs, bringing wages down, rents up, crowding you out in your schools and bringing drugs and crime in. This doesn't really affect us because we're kind of in nice communities. We're still trying to help you because that's the Christianity in us. And you're never, ever, ever satisfied. No matter what you get. I mean, we can give you free this. We've spent over $27 trillion on the Great Society since the 1960s. Free medical care, free housing, free food, free education. You name it, and you still ain't satisfied. Never said thank you, not one time. Give me more, give me more, give me more. If you ever said thank you, tell me when it was. Now, Dr. King said you never be satisfied. And he's right, because you never are. Why? Because gratitude And thankfulness is a Christian concept. Always be thankful. Always have gratitude. You can go in your ghettos and see how your mind is. Wherever there's chaos, the devil rules. God doesn't rule in confusion. It's this false Christianity. It's the fact that they divided us. But here's the good news. We're working on that, y'all. All of these old no good, sorry preachers are being exposed. Bit by bit, little by little. It's going to be like Ernest Hemingway said, suddenly, gradually, and then all suddenly. It's going to be exposed. God will not be mocked. And all the people that want to come home will be given an opportunity. The true gospel will be preached. And all of you have an opportunity to come home. And when we come home and when the Christians get together in this country, we are going to shut the Democrat Party down. That's the good news. I am here to wake you up. I want you to go to my website. I want you to get Iron Triangle, the first book that started it all, that talked about these no good black preachers and black politicians, black civil rights workers, and how they've lied to the black community, to America. Then get 25 Lies. It's a handbook on how to recognize the Democratic Party's most damnable, seductive lies and how to refute them. And then you get Crime Inc. It tells you that the Democratic Party is like a mafia family, how they use criminal tactics to keep you under control. This is who they are. And then get this great documentary, Will You Go to Hell For Me? It explains how voting for the Democratic Party will send your soul to hell. People, I hope I've waking you up tonight. They are trying to divide us. They've been doing it for the last 220 years. Oh, but we're coming together now. And once we get together, we're going to rock this world and bring it back to Christ. And America will still remain the greatest nation in the world, but we will be 100 times better. So join me next week for the Vince Everett Ellison Show.